finally really did it. You maniacs! You blew it up!
Okay, settle down, Charlie. Well, I didn't actually blow it up, but it did need some clutch work. As much as I tried, I could not get the clutch to release on my number 12 grader. This is a 71D. 271 is the serial number. That makes it a early 1959 machine. But like I say, the clutch was stuck after sitting for a couple years in probably dirty oil. And the frictions and the steels were all just stuck fast, and there was nothing I can do to get it to release. So finally I had to bite the bullet and pull the engine.
Yeah, look at that. She's stuck good.
Yeah, you can really see here where the frictions had basically bonded themselves to the steel on the flywheel and the rear pressure plate. There's also a center steel disc, which I purchased new. So I've got two new frictions and then that center steel plate. I spent some time on the flywheel with some abrasive, just a wire wheel, an orbital sander, and some Scotch-Brite, and it cleaned up just fine. I did notice that throwout bearing was worn pretty badly, so we wanted to replace that. The trick is to get that inner race out, so we did the welding trick. With the TIG welder, ran a bead of weld around the inside of that race that shrinks it down, and the race just basically falls out. Yeah, here's John doing the reassembly work on the clutch. And like most clutch packs, it's a stack up of frictions and steels. So if you got the two frictions sandwiched between the three steel plates, so the flywheel, a friction, then this steel plate, then another friction, and then the last pressure plate. And again, this is a wet clutch, so that means it runs in engine oil. Engine oil is pumped in to the clutch compartment, and then the action of the flywheel scavenges the oil back into the crankcase. So the whole thing runs in engine oil, and which I suspect may be part of the failure mode here, because one can change the drain the engine oil from the crankcase, but if they neglect to drain the clutch compartment, contaminants could build up in there and really do quite a bit of damage to your clutch plates. And with the new clutch components installed, it's time to put the power plant back into the machine. It's surprisingly simple. There's only two bolts that holds the engine down on top of the differential. There's a stack of shims underneath there as well. And then the other half-inch bolts, I think there's 16 or 17 of them around the bell housing on the transmission. And that's it. That's all that holds the engine in. It's real simple. And nothing really magical guiding the engine in onto the input shaft. There's nothing special you have to do there. You can rotate things externally until the gears mesh. And there's two alignment dowels on the transmission as well. And of course it sure is nice having that big telehandler to move the engine in. That machine will lift 10,000 pounds, so this little 6-cylinder cat engine is really no big deal for it. It's nice to be able to just tilt and adjust and get things just right where you need them.
Oh, she likes that. All right, extend out.
And as much as I enjoy working by myself, it was nice working with John. It really is a two-man job to get that engine lined up and bolted back up to the transmission. It always takes a little bit of wiggling to get it onto the alignment dowels. And once it's all mated together, we're able to throw some bolts in around the bell housing, and again get those two bolts on the top of the differential.
A little bit more so you
Okay, we're over here on the left side of the clutch compartment. There's an access panel where you can get in and adjust these fingers here. So the last task is to adjust the clearance between the release lever and the bearing release ring. So book says to run the nut down until there's no lash. So we'll do that. Quite a bit there. Starting to feel tight. Okay, right about there is a 0 lash. And then it says to back it off 2/3 of a turn. So the 2/3 is 4/6. So we'll back it off 4 flats. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 until we have a hole lined up to throw our cotter key in. So I'll roll the engine over with the fan, 120 degrees, and I'll get the other 2 nuts. All right, and since I'm working by myself, I want to roll the engine 120 degrees. So I've got the camera set up on the nut on the front of the crankshaft. So if I roll it over 2 flats on the crankshaft, that'll give me 120 degrees. That'll expose the next adjustment nut. So there's alright, so there's one. And roll it over 1 more flat. Alright, so there's that's 120 degrees. That should expose the next adjustment nut, and I can go over there and finish it up. And again, one of the reasons I think this clutch failed, I think primarily because the machine sat for at least 2 years without running in dirty oil. Probably got some moisture in there, so want to avoid all those problems. So we'll give it a fresh a service on the engine oil before we attempt to start the engine. Well, the good news is I didn't find any major contaminants in the oil itself. Reaching around inside the pan, it was very clean. Also, the oil filters were pretty clean. So I feel like we've got a pretty good engine here. So we'll just give it a good service before the first engine start here. Engine oil capacities, 26 quarts. I know the clutch compartment takes a little bit of oil, so I'll bring it up on the dipstick here and run the engine a bit. And of course we'll check it again while the engine's running as per the dipstick instructions. There's nothing really cosmic on the cooling system. I did lose a little bit of fluid during the engine removal, but got a good radiator, no leaks. So I'm just making sure it's topped off before the first engine start. Capacity of the system is 14 1/2 gallons. Okay, we're all set here for the first engine start. We've got batteries hooked up. All fluids are serviced. I'm going to set the camera here. I do have a block off for the intake in case it runs away. I doubt that. I doubt it'll even fire because the fuel system's been disconnected. But main thing I want to see is that batteries are connected correctly and have the starter spin. Alright, so here's the cutoff key. It's back on. Let's try the starter.
Surprised. I thought I'd have to prime the injectors, but he fired right up. Got good oil pressure. The ammeter is going from 0 to 60. I don't know if you can see that. charging pretty good. I don't know why. It's taking a pretty good charge. Maybe the new batteries are needing to charge. I don't know, but pretty happy it's running.
Yeah, so these new batteries are pretty nice, but they're a little bit taller than the ones that were in it previously, and therefore my hold down bolts are a little too short. So I went ahead and fabricated 4 more bolts just out of some 3/8 rod that I had on hand. So let's throw these in and get these batteries all buttoned up. All right, where's my favorite 9/16? That's a little sneak preview of my 3T D7 there. But with the grader running, I just couldn't resist taking it out and give it a little bit of exercise. Seems to be running just fine, so we'll bring it back in the shop and put on the rest of the goodies, the air cleaner, all the cowling, tin work, stuff like that. So still quite a bit of work to do on it to get it finished up, but it seems to run fine. Okay, I think we'll call that an episode. I'll bring you back for part 2. We'll do a proper walk around on the old machine, maybe count the grease fittings or something fun like that. And thanks again, John, for coming out, helping get the engine back in. I appreciate you. I'll put a link below to your YouTube channel. It's called Cat Scat. He does nice work. Check him out. All right, we'll see you soon for part 2.